All right, so the first transformation that we're going to talk about in class tomorrow and that you're going to need to be able to do is a reflection. A reflection is always written with a lowercase r. The line of reflection will be a subscript, and usually the point's going to be given right next to it. We have 4 different reflections that we have to learn. The first one is a reflection over the x-axis, and it's labeled the same way. We start with our lowercase r, our subscript of the x-axis, and for right now we're going to talk about how this would work for any point x comma y. The rule for x-axis is we are going to change the sign of the y value. So if it's positive, we're going to make it negative, and if it's negative, we're going to make it positive. So we're only going to change the y value. The second reflection that we need to do is to be able to reflect something over the y-axis. It's written the exact same way, reflection over the y-axis of any point x comma y. The difference here is we're just going to change the value of the x-coordinate. So same as we did before, if it's positive, make it negative, and if it's negative, make it positive. The third reflection is a reflection through the line y equals x. So what you'll see is the y equals x line will be written under here in the subscript of any point x comma y. And what we need to do for this one is we simply just switch the x and y coordinate. We do not change any of the values or any of the signs. We're just going to simply switch places. The last reflection is over any horizontal or vertical line that is not an axis. So the way that they'll write that is going to be same thing with a lowercase r, and then there will be an equation of a line down here. And again, same thing with any point. But we don't have a formula for this, so no, don't memorize that. What you need to do is you need to graph the point and line, and then you need to count, which I'll show you how to do on the questions below. So the first example that we're going to have is we're going to take this point 4, 2, and we're going to reflect it over the x-axis. So our rule, as we went over before, is to just change the sign of the y value. So our new coordinate is going to be 4, -2. Now what we always want to do is we want to plot that so we have our new point. An example of the second reflection, which is over the y-axis, we're going to look at here. We're going to take that same point, 4, 2, and we're going to reflect it over this line. If we remember our rule, all we need to do is take this x value and change the sign from a +4 to a -4. We always want to replot and regraph our new point. Example of our third reflection, which is over the line y equals x. So notice how the subscript here has changed a little bit. It has y equals x. It doesn't have an axis. What we're going to do is reflect this point 4, 2 over that line. The easiest way to do this is just to remember your rule. And what we're going to do is switch our x and y coordinate. We are not going to do anything with the signs. So this would be your new point, 2, 4. We're going to write down the point and make sure that we regraph it as well. So our fourth and final example is going to be reflecting a point over a line that is not an axis or the equation y equals x. What we got to do for this, as I told you, is there's no formula. So don't try to come up with the point down here first. The first thing you want to do is graph your point, graph your line, which unfortunately I didn't do a good job of labeling. Make sure we label this x equals 1. And what we want to do from there is just count. So since it's a reflection, it's going to be the same amount of space on both sides. So we're going to count to the line, 1, 2, 3 spaces, and then we're going to count those same 3 spaces after the line. That is going to be the location of your new point. So in order to find out your new coordinates, you have to count. So the new coordinates are going to be -2, +2. There's no real formula that we use for this. When you get one of these questions, you really just need to graph it out, and that's the easiest and fastest